Maybe he was the path that fate would walk when it saw him fit to be used, a fate etched in his lineage that he was bound to live by regardless of his desire, until this path faded into obscurity. Neji Hyuga represents the after effects of tragedy in the shinobi world, one whose story goes beyond that of the shinobi class system established years ago. A story centered around a clan divided by a marginal difference that would lead to detrimental outcomes for the young ninja. Fatalism is a concept that all events are predetermined and inevitable, and that human attempts at changing such fatalistic results are futile. This was a mindset that was seared into the mind as Neji lived through what he called the hateful legacy of the Hyuga. Hisashi Hyuga getting sacrificed for the sake of the clan was the ultimate event that influenced this line of thinking. Each person's life only consists of being swept along in the inescapable current of his destiny, all of us only having one thing in common, one shared fate: death. This was what Neji believed. As much as he hated this fatalistic worldview, he adopted it and would even share it with others. It's the main underlying conflict with him and Naruto. It was a major hurdle that Naruto needed to surpass, because if Neji was right, then from Naruto's perspective, he would never achieve his goals of being the Hokage. He would never garner the respect from the village he wanted to attain so badly. One could argue that Neji was partially right though. As we find out from the story, Naruto is not just some random loser shinobi, but the heir of the fourth Hokage, believed to be maybe the most talented shinobi in the village's history. This fact no doubt led to preferential treatment like training from a legendary Sannin, as well as guidance from one of the greatest shinobi prodigies, the copy ninja himself. I want to go on a tangent and speak about a few types of fatalism and how that refers back to what we have seen in the series. Neji refers to what can be understood as tragic fatalism, an acceptance of unavoidable suffering that is intertwined within the human condition. Neji had thought that his curse mark was a representation that the cadet branch was assigned to a harsh fate that they could not escape. As false as this line of thinking was, it's easy to understand why Neji would arrive at that conclusion based on the information he had at the time. The last two forms of fatalism are what's really interesting, which is cosmic and theological fatalism. The former refers to the universe having a predetermined end that determines all events. The latter refers to an omniscient force that has foreknowledge of all events and makes them inevitable. And this kind of leads me back to Chibai Otsutsuki and the explanation that Momoshiki provided regarding him, as well as omnipotence. Chibai was seen as the closest thing to any kind of deity within the Naruto-verse, and his Shinjutsu, specifically omnipotence, is a type of technique that would lean towards those believing in fatalism. If one with the power to control omnipotence wields said power on unsuspecting worlds, that is in a way fixing a fate upon that world's populace. A rather interesting idea to ponder. Nevertheless, back to Neji. Was Neji right though? Well, no. Neji would realize that while certain things may seem like fate, it is ultimately the decision making we have that influences our fate. Neji was not destined to be the most powerful Hyuga prodigy of all time, yet he got to that point due to his work ethic and determination, okay? Naruto was not destined for anything. If he did not have the perseverance to attain all the achievements he ended up achieving, he would have ultimately been captured and killed by the Akatsuki for his tailed beast. Talent means nothing if one is not willing to do anything with it. Events are not inevitable if the people involved are not willing to make the necessary decisions that would bring those events into fruition. Hisashi Hyuga choosing to sacrifice his life destroyed the fatalistic approach that Neji had, because it was at this time Neji realized that while we may find ourselves in fortunate and likewise unfortunate situations, it is our mentality and decision making that would ultimately influence the result. Be sure to like and subscribe.